I started my trip here in wonderful Leonidio, where I'm on a climbing trip currently, and I just packed in my motorbike so I could go on some occasional motorbike trips. I started here in Leonidio. I went back here to this leg, and I decided I would want to do the Peloponnese as much as I can. I wasn't sure how far I would get. I thought I would go maybe for 1 week, more or less, and then I went in this direction clockwise around. The first night I made it about till here. There I stayed in a tent for the night because it was really hard to find a hotel or something if you don't pre-book. Even though it's November, the thing is most hotels are closed, or well, a lot of them inside the country, there's no one around. It would take some pre-planning, but I didn't want to pre-plan. So I just took a tent with me and stuff for sleeping, but nothing for cooking, because I thought that I would get food on the way all the time. Getting 1 or 2 meals during the day was sufficient for me. In the evening, I just drive until it got dark. And then I got into the tent, chilled a little bit, and went to sleep eventually. Unfortunately, the days are quite short now, and it's dark about 6:30. Getting up early and riding during the day, then I'd have maybe breakfast and coffee somewhere, then I'd get lunch a little later in the afternoon. That would be the plan of my days. The next day I was already a little bit tired, and I made it up to here. There was a really nice village, very touristy. It was really nice to have coffee and just chill around and get some breakfast. After that I rode all the way down to the sea. That was about it for the day 2. I went to the campground. The campground was closed, so I just decided to go to the beach and spend the night there. Then next day I wanted to make it all the way up here close to Patras. This is the highest point of this trip. This is TET number 4, and this is TET number 3 of Greece. I wanted to get up to this pass here, which is 1,750 meters. Is also the best part of the whole trip, I would say, is up here. This is very remote. Down here I found plenty of springs to get fresh water, which was really nice. I always only had a 2-liter camel bag with me, so I always, when I got to a spring, I filled her up, so I always had enough to drink. On the way there were small villages I could get coffee and food, and then in the mountains here there was nothing, so it's also good. I always fueled up my bike, and especially going up here on the pass. So if I go on roads, on pavement, I can do about 300 kilometers on my bike. But then coming through here, it took me actually much more gasoline than normally. Every gas station I could get, I just filled her up to be sure that I would make it in the end. And it worked out well, but better safe than sorry. Huh? I had periods where my Husqvarna 500 took 8 liters per 100 kilometers, and normally it's more like down to 4.5 liters per 100 kilometers. So just before the pass, I drove into the dark, and it was raining also. It was quite muddy and slippery, and I decided to camp somewhere in the forest, which was a good idea because go up all the way to the pass would be silly. There's no trees and nothing. You're totally exposed to the wind and everything. And I had a really calm night, even though it was raining all night. And just in the morning, when I got ready to ride, the rain stopped and I could keep on riding. Then I did the pass. It's very nice to take your time to go over this pass, get some pictures, and the views are incredible. To look down onto Patras and the surroundings, the ocean. Then, knowing that I wouldn't be able to make the whole round around here, I decided to go down this coast and just really go on the coast, just by the water. It's really nice to just have a look around, cruise down here, spend the night down in one of these villages here in a hotel, dry up everything because a lot of stuff was still wet. The tent was wet. Just get everything out and get everything dry, get some clothing washed, and just relax, because I was quite tired, and I noticed that I had done a cut of about 200 kilometers per day, and it's 90% off-road. It's generally doable on a bigger bike than my 500, but there are some sections that can be a little bit dodgy. Because I'm traveling alone, I prefer to take the small bike. 80-90% of the gravel is gravel roads, double trails, and then there is a little bit of single trail and some dodgy parts where the road has been washed out. Then here I went all the way just down the road, stayed overnight. The next day down around here, come around here enough, finish this off, and then get back to Leonidio. I would say 200 kilometers per day was around about my limit, or what I would call my comfort zone, and I didn't want to go more than that. It's quite strenuous, and towards the evenings I did get very tired. Better to stop and take a break instead of losing concentration. Here are some of the highlights of the trip. I hope you enjoy.
Así no lo veo.